my loves, and welcome back to the You Grow Girl podcast. It's so good to see you guys again here on the pod. And today I'm coming to you with a bonus episode because I got a lot of folks coming through the You Grow Girl podcast. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to do something a little bit different today. And part of that is because during this past, I would say, week and a half, I've had some folks reach out to me just in general about, hey, Kat, what are some of the things you're going to talk about on your podcast? And so, what I did say to some of those folks that reach out to me, I said, hey, I value feedback. Feedback is truly a gift to all of us. And so, what are some of the things that you would want to be able to listen to or you would want to hear either when you're in your cars or when you're just having that moment of pause and you're like, look, let me turn on something that's uplifting, inspiring, or that's going to speak to my heart in this moment because life is lifing and I don't know what to do because I'm in a situation. So, one of the things that came up a couple of times through a couple of conversations was, comparison being the thief of joy. Mm. I had to pause there because it came up a couple times with comparison being the thief of joy. And let me tell you something. If there is anything that I have learned over my years of just life, is that sometimes we get ourselves in these situations to where we start to compare ourselves to what other people have going on in their life or their lives from what we actually can see. Now, we all have to remember that people are only going to show us the good stuff and not necessarily the bad stuff. And they don't have to, right? But sometimes when we see things on the outer layer, it doesn't truly give us the true picture of what that person truly has going on in here or behind closed doors. And so we have to remember that although we may see someone looking good, having a good job, driving a nice car, doing all these wonderful things, traveling the world, just having a good time. And when we look at those things, we're thinking, wow, I wish that were me. Well, baby, I'm here to tell you, you are you and they are they. And so when it comes to the things that are for you in your life, you got things that have been already planned out for you to do. See, your life is already written, and the things that you're going to do in your life are already planned. Or a preacher says, write it down and make it plain. We have to do that. So if there are things that we want to do in our lives, we got to work for them, no matter what that is. And so when I kept hearing that comparison is a thief of joy, and someone said, Kat, I really struggle sometimes with, comparing, why am I not this far in life? What did I do or what steps didn't I make? And I oftentimes have to remind people is that your path is much, much different than the next person's path. You see, not everyone's path is straight, right? And so if it was straight, honestly, I think it would be boring. But we all have this path that does this, right? And every time you hit a corner, it doesn't mean that it's going to be a tight corner. That corner may be a little bit bumpier than the next, but that's the way life is supposed to be. It's not going to be straight edged. It's going to be a bit curvy. And so when you're hit with those things, it's important to understand and take a moment to step back and say, hey, okay, what does this mean for me in my life? How do I hit this corner a bit more smoother so that way when I am hitting those bumps, I necessarily can't feel them because I'm anticipating that it's already going to happen. So when you start talking about comparison being the thief of joy, y'all, Sometimes the enemy comes in and tries to rob us of the things that we love so much, whether that be the people in our life, whether that be our friends, our family, whomever it is, or the things that we want to do in life. He comes in and tries to destroy that. But we got to learn how to stand on business, even when things get a little bit bumpy. I'm someone who struggled for quite some time with something called imposter syndrome. Now, there's a lot of words being thrown around nowadays, and you're hearing more imposter syndrome, self doubt. Not that they ain't been around, but we just talking about it a lot more. And I remember, when I was going through my season of imposter syndrome, and hey, just to be clear, I am not fully cleared from that, but God is also in charge and helping me through that process when that self doubt or that imposter syndrome tries to creep in. Because, baby, let me tell you, it's going to creep in when you least expect it. Okay. But how you handle her or him depends on you. And I've learned to kind of pray through those things when they start to jump on my back or start to kind of try to find a space somewhere in here. And so with that that imposter syndrome that started to creep up in my life, as we know, it's something that tries to fill up space to make you feel inadequate, that you cannot do the things that you're supposed to be doing, or you cannot achieve the things that you want to achieve, because it totally starts to take over your your mind to make you feel like I can't, when we should be saying to ourselves, I can. Because we know what Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So we got to believe that, and we have to receive that, because the things that we project with our mouth and manifest with our tongue is important. So we have to learn how to speak life into ourselves, y'all. We got to speak life into ourselves. I'm saying that now, but over 2 years, 3 years ago, I would even see further back than that, y'all, because I've been through a lot in my life, and y'all gonna learn a lot about that sitting on this podcast. Y'all gonna be like, Cat, what? You did what? You went through what? Girl, this is what this show is gonna be about. Y'all gonna hear the real, authentic version of Miss Cat and me sharing the things that I've been through, because my story sometimes will be a testimony for somebody else who's listening. I'm not doing this work for any type of accolades or any type of, oh yeah, Cat, I'm so proud. I'm doing this is because this is what God has called me to do. He has continued to push me and tell me, girl, grow. And so that's what I'm doing. He said, you have a voice and I want you to use it in this time and in this space and in this way. And so I will continue to do that. And so I'm not going to be on here long with y'all today, because this is the message for today. I love you so much. I hope that you were able to gain something. Know that as you go through this new season of you, whatever it is, and I mentioned on my Instagram earlier last week, this new season coming for you is your best season. So, baby, buckle up. That self doubt that was trying to find a little space to live there is going to have to make room for the journey and the win and the excitement and the glow and grow that's getting ready to come in your life. So, baby, if you can't do anything, give yourself a pat on the back, because you are greatness. You are special. You are loved. We support you. We see you. And I just want you to know that as we wrap up this end of Black History Month, and baby, let me tell you, it may be Black History Month celebrated, but I am Black History every single day of my life. And so I'm thankful for that. But as you greet the week with gratitude this week, I want you to go out there and I want you to have an amazing week. And I know some of you guys be saying, Kat, why do you always say have an amazing week? because that's my way of saying to you, there's going to be things that are going to come up this week that you are going to least expect to happen. But when they do come, I want you to remember what you started this week thinking, which is gratitude. Thank you for waking me up today, Lord. Thank you for giving me breath, because we know He gives us new mercies every single day too. But just thank you for a new day, because somebody right now, today, this morning, yesterday, is dealing with something that we couldn't even imagine. So anytime you get a chance to wake up and stand and walk and talk and breathe and love and scream and shout and run if you can, you need to give thanks. All right, y'all. I love you. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of the You Grow Girl podcast. Have a wonderful week, babes. I love you. I love you. Y'all take care now.